Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Isaac, and we are going to be trying out the second floor of the mortuary here. Let's see what's going on. This skeleton, number 748, according to the number chiseled above its brow, is odd only in that some of its teeth appear to be false ones made of reddish-brown stone. They're clearly not valuable, however, as its caretakers would have otherwise removed them. I have to ask, why the smock? It's not like you have anything to be modest about. The skeleton makes no reply. Great talking to you, Bones. Stay healthy. More. I wonder if this Greybeard would mind if I borrowed his body. Greybeard? Greybeard, you know. Geezer, old fella, yellow dog, old. I don't think he's in any position to object. Why not take his body? Mort studies the skeleton for a moment, then shakes his head. Nah, I'd need a fresher one than this. It's something with a little more dignity. This one's all creaky and fractured. And you're not. Oh, you're a sack full of laughs. Mort glares at you. Besides, you're one to talk, Bark. Mirrors beg for mercy when you're around. Oh yeah, well at least I have all my parts. Mort snorts. You're not quite sure how he managed it without lungs. Let me tell you, Mort, there is nothing more satisfying than walking around, swinging your arms, breathing the crisp air through the lungs. It's great to have a body. I'll have you know that helping you escape the preparation room has now been added to my growing list of regrets. Mort snorts again. I should have let you rot. Some more, that is. Glad you feel that way. Let's go. Mort has a list of regrets. There's another interesting topic that's going to show up more frequently in this game. We're going to loot everything that's not tied down, because that's how we do it.
Forced it.
Oh, there we go. These items are pretty cool. Bone Charm is a temporary bonus to armor class. Corpse Fly Charm is pretty neat. Invokes Swarm Curse. When swallowed, the recipient suddenly becomes extremely nauseous. A few seconds later, the charmed individual expels a stream of insects from their nose and mouth. Provided the charmed individual can keep their wits about them after the casting, the caster can send this cloud to attack a target. Yeah, that's fantastic. Clot Charm, those are for healing hit points. And some other stuff here. Let's read the mortuary task list. Someone has penned a series of tasks in red ink on this scrap of parchment. I would like the contracted workers to be inspected thrice daily. At the end of each work shift, with the new initiates come on duty, we have experienced too many contracted collapses while engaging in heavy labor as of late. And I fear the embalming enchantments initially used on the corpses may be decaying or may have warped somehow. If the contracted workers could be inspected every 8 hours and raised if they have collapsed, then this would prevent the backlog of shells in the preparation rooms, free up more contracted workers for other duties. I do not wish collapsed bodies to be disposed of. When possible, the original contracted shells are to be raised and be made to resume their duties. I have included spare embalming charms within the shelves for the initiates on duty. They are to be used only when the shells cannot be repaired with stitching, bandaging, or applications of embalming fluid. And that is this charm bracelet that we discovered. And so these are a temporary hit points, temporary bonus of armor class. It's pretty flimsy. We're going to put it in our quick items and just try to use it up. Let's see. I think we can put all these. Let's put all these over there. All right. Let's keep going. I don't need that. Let's check out this guy. The number 1146 is carved into the forehead of this walking corpse. Its lips are sewn together with coarse black thread. The entire body is covered in horrible scars, worse even than your own. as if its owner had been burned to death. Its nose, ears, and several digits are missing, presumably charred away in some long-ago conflagration. As you block its path to get its attention, it stops and gazes at you with vacant eyes. We're gonna leave the corpse in peace. I don't think there's anything I can actually do here. Let's see. We need a key. The skeleton has either seen a great deal of combat or has fallen down one too many staircases. Both its arms and legs have been broken and rebuilt with the aid of leather straps and thin iron rods. The front of its skull bears the number 863, but the back of the skull is caved in, forming an empty cavity. You notice that someone has taken advantage of this and tucked a rolled up piece of parchment inside the skull. We're going to take the parchment out of the skeleton's skull. You slip the parchment out of the skeleton's skull. Oddly enough, it looks as if the skull cavity is intended to store messages. A tiny string is attached to the parchment with a hook bolted inside the skull, as if to keep the parchment from accidentally falling out. Unhook the string, take the parchment. You unhook the string and glance over the parchment. It looks like the reminder from one of the mortuary custodians. Judging from the note, the skeleton appears to be a walking messenger of sorts. As you take a second look at the skeleton, you realize it has stopped in front of the slab because it can't figure out how to move past it. And we're going to leave it in peace. The note that it gave is... This is the third and last request for the pry bar. If it has been misplaced, tell me, and I shall go to the hive market and purchase another. I have no objection to maintaining the contracted workers, but I've been trying to repair the skeletons, and the bolts are wedged in so tight I can't get them out. Also, some of the locks in the storage cabinets on the third floor have been stuck again due to the heat, and I need the pry bar to snap them open as well. If the pry bar is indeed lost, I will see about procuring the services of a locksmith, having the cabinet locks replaced. Your aid in this matter would be appreciated. An unreadable signature has been scrawled beneath the message. So that tells us a couple things. There's some stuff we can need to steal up on this floor, and a pry bar would be very helpful. The dustmen will occasionally try to stop us. We're just going to outrun them, if at all possible. We're going to run like crazy. I think there's some stuff in here. The corpse's meaty head was clearly severed at some point and hastily sewn back on. Several different sets of stitching, all in various states of unraveling, seem to indicate that the head is constantly being knocked back off and reattached during the course of its work. A number, 79, has been cut into its temple, circumscribed by a fanged circle that appears to have been branded on its forehead. Examine the fanged circle. The fanged circle looks like it was branded on the corpse's forehead long ago, presumably before it died. It might be a religious icon of some sort, or a rite of passage. You notice that one of the recesses between the inner fangs has a small triangle within it, as if it has some special significance. I wonder if the space between the fangs matched the grooves in this copper earring I have.
Updated my journal.
The corpse makes no reply. Looks like it is too far gone to answer any of your questions. We're going to go ahead and try and solve that riddle. We're going to take a look at this earring. This copper earring looks extremely old. It looks as if it was actually meant to be worn, but there doesn't seem to be a hook or any means of attaching to her ear. There's a series of strange grooves on the inside of the earring, however. Insert your fingernail into the notch that matches where the triangle was pointing in the fang circle you saw on zombie number 79's forehead. You hook your fingernail into the third groove from the top and press it inwards. As you do, there's a click, and the top of the earring snaps open. Not only can you wear the earring now, it also looks like there'd be a secret compartment inside the earring. We're going to shake the earring, see if anything comes out. You shake the earring, but nothing comes out. Whatever was hidden in the earring is gone now. So the ring is just slightly more valuable since we know how to
Forced it.
open it up. Got some money and some more clock charms. Very good. Another piece of paper. There's the pry bar we need. Let's go ahead and read that. Contract the necromancer responsible for raising contractual worker 42. I know he's examined the skeleton before. I'm certain the initial raising of the body was warped. The worker still responds to commands, but when it has completed a task, it resumes pacing in the same circular pattern as it did before. Dahal recently informed me that Worker 42 exhibited that same walking pattern when it was a zombie decades ago. There may be a soul echo in the marrow where the skeleton's age may have caused the magic animating him to decay. One of the initiates suggested it may be following an order issued by a higher ranking dustman in the past. I have found no records of any such order. Whatever the reason for its behavior, the matter is to be resolved or the worker replaced. We're still looking for that 42. It seems really important. We're going to toss that on the ground. We're going to toss all these. They're not really important. Toss the logbook too. So inventory is not cluttered up. And let's go check some of these. This looks to be the corpse of a well-aged, even ancient woman. Aside from the embalming fluid stink, the stitches sealing her mouth and the number 679 attached to her right cheek, it's likely she looks only slightly different now than she did in her final years. Great talking to you. Very well. This animated skeleton smells horrible, as if it had been only freshly stripped and prepared. Its jaw and major joints are tightly bound with leather straps, and a rough smock has been thrown over it. The number 1221 has been chiseled into its forehead. Examine the skeleton carefully. Someone has taken care to bind the bones of the skeleton with leather straps, woven around the body in such a pattern that they resemble muscles and tendons. The straps are secured to metal bolts punched into the skeleton's joints. The skeleton looks like it has seen a great deal of service. Many of its bones are chipped, and numerous fractures are bound with sealant and foul-smelling glues. We're going to try and pry out of the skeleton's joint bolts. Whoa, Chief, that's vandalism. Those bolts are probably the only thing holding that bag of bones together. Necromancy only goes so far with these old fellas, you know. So? It's not a problem. Mort does a strange bobbing motion that you think might be a shrug. Just want to make sure if you knew that or not. By all means, go ahead. We're going to try and pry out the skeleton's joint bolts. Using your pry bar, you rip the bolts from the skeleton's joints. The skeleton collapses, some of the bones still twitching. Sorry about that, Bones. And we get a wooden club, which also gets a leather strap, an iron spike, which I don't think are necessarily usable in any way. The iron spike is a dagger, but it's pretty bad. So we're gonna slip around and see if we can steal anything. Oh, I've got some needle and thread. Okay, we've done this section. Oh, there's a section over there. I think we need to go check that out. We're gonna do our best to track down that particular zombie, 42. Let's see. The numbers 613 are cut deeply into this plotting corpse's forehead, but an inch of shredded leathery skin separates the 1 and the 3. Looking closely, you can barely make out a 2 carved there. We're gonna leave the corpse in peace. And let's see. I feel like there's a way we have to get back over there. There's just too many dustmen running around. We can talk our way out of it, more than likely. It's not a big deal. Let's see if we can run past him. Let's see. We need the key to get into that area. Alright, let's go talk to one of these guys. The dustman regards you with a stony gaze. Are you lost? No, I'm not lost. I had some questions. If you are not lost, what is your business here? I was here for an interment. There seems to have been a mistake. Who was being interred? Perhaps the services are taking place somewhere else in the mortuary. Could you show me the way out? I will summon a guard to direct you out. Hold a moment. Let's wait. The dustman takes a step back, then claps his hands together sharply 3 times. In response, a great iron bell starts tolling throughout the mortuary. Alright then. I guess we're just gonna kill our way out. Yeah, we get some robes, jagged knife. Great stuff. It's fine. It's kind of a pain in the neck to deal with the dustman. We get the experience of fighting all these guys anyway. I don't think we can...
Failed.
Yeah, I don't think we can force our way in. Let's see if they have a key. Nope, no key. Let's see. Not a big deal. Combat is not particularly exciting in this game.
Damn.
I think we got all this stuff already. I'm trying to think, how in the world do you get... One of these guys has got the key. Positive of it. Nope.
Die.
Well, okay. I'm gonna pause the video really quick and see if we can figure something out really fast. Okay, I am back. It appears that there is a, the key is indeed in one of these shelves. We just have to find it. Also, number 42 is up here. We just have to... where did he go? I think I checked all these, and there was no... There's definitely no key. This is really irritating. There it is. It's right on the shelf in the main thing. I don't think there's any particular reason to get in here. It's just a different way down. Yeah, nothing major. We do want to find number 42, though. Nope, not there. Nope, not there. And maybe here.
Damn it.
Combat is not particularly difficult in this game, and I think I'm going to play it through as a fighter class, just because spell memorization can be a total pain in the neck. The air roaring from the mouth of this immense furnace is incredibly hot. Walking even a few steps past the archway would certainly cause your hair and flesh to burst into flame. It's pretty neat. It's a giant incinerator there. Alright, we have the key. We are going to head down and we are going to head to the ground floor of the mortuary at some point here. And in the next video, we will finish up the mortuary and go from there. Thanks, guys.